There are days when every margin of error is no longer a number, but the line between control and disaster. 3 calls, 3 scenes, but only one thing in common. If we failed, the consequences would be irreversible. The first call came from a busy highway. When we arrived, the tanker truck was already lying on its side, its frame twisted from a violent rollover. But what made the air feel heavy wasn't the steel, it was the fuel. A slick of liquid spread across the asphalt, reflecting the lights like a deadly mirror. Just one tiny spark, from metal friction, from an engine, even from static electricity, and everything could turn into an inferno in seconds. We immediately established a safety perimeter. No one moved in without proper anti-explosion gear. Engines completely shut down. Every step had to be controlled. The tanker held around 10,000 gallons of fuel. Once overturned, the load no longer distributed evenly. It shifted to one side, creating massive pressure on the tank walls. If the structure tore further, the fuel would spill uncontrollably. We couldn't just lift it. No one does that with a liquid bomb. The solution: stabilize first, move later. Stabilizing blocks were placed at key stress points. Only after stabilization did we begin to drain the fuel. Gallons were slowly pumped out. Pressure gradually reduced. Not fast, but safe.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I just want to make sure because...
No, that's yours. No.
Only when the load reached a controllable level did the order come. Cables tightened. Silence fell. The tanker shifted. Even the smallest movement made my heart race. If it slipped, if the force misaligned. But no, it stopped exactly as calculated. Little by little, the massive steel body was brought back into position. No explosion, no loss of control, just silence, and a disaster that had just been avoided.
So now that's upright.
We hadn't even left the scene when the second call came in. A semi-truck had lost control, dragging multiple brand new truck frames into a roadside ditch. When we arrived, the scene stretched before us. Steel frames stacked, twisted, some buried deep in mud. No fire, no leaks, but another problem: mass and chaos. Each frame weighed about 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, and there were dozens of them. They weren't neatly placed. They were hooked into each other, forming a chaotic structure where one wrong pull could cause everything to shift, collide, or break. We didn't pull the whole pile. We dissected it. Each frame was separated one by one. Cables were threaded through structural load points, not the easiest spots, but the strongest. One crane lifted. One crane stabilized. The rhythm repeated. Lift, rotate, lower, reposition. Some frames were stuck deep in mud, suction making them heavier than they actually were. As the crane pulled, you could see it clearly. The frame didn't want to let go. We kept our distance. If a cable slipped, a steel frame could swing freely like a massive blade. After hours of work, each frame was returned to the road. No major damage, no losses. Chaos turned into order. The scene looked as if nothing had ever happened. We were exhausted, but every one of us breathed a quiet sigh of relief. The third call came when night had already fallen. Fatigue was setting in, but the scene didn't allow for it. When we arrived, a stone-hauling truck had overturned, its entire load spilled across the highway, completely blocking it. Stone doesn't burn, doesn't explode, but it's heavy and unpredictable. The load could reach up to 50,000 pounds. The problem wasn't just the truck. It was the entire mass of stone that had destroyed its balance. We had to unload first. Excavators moved in. Bucket by bucket, the stones were cleared. Every reduction in load meant less pressure on the frame. 2 cranes were deployed, one to lift, one to stabilize. Hook points had to be exact, not convenient but controllable.
Brandon, did you see how that clutch hooks on?
When the pull began, I could see it clearly. The truck wasn't just heavy. It resisted. It rotated slowly, then stopped. We adjusted angles, added force, held the rhythm. Then the critical moment came. Under precise coordination between the 2 cranes, the truck began to turn back slowly, until all wheels touched the ground again. After hours of tension, the massive steel body finally stood upright. A deep, solid sound, like a full stop to hours of pressure. Another night operation. One none of us will forget. Three rescue situations, 3 types of risk: fire, chaos, and gravity. But the most important common point wasn't the equipment, it wasn't strength, it was the decisive moment. The moment when you must choose. Pull or hold, fast or slow, risk or control. There's no room for luck. Only calculation, experience, and absolute trust in your team. When everything was over, the road reopened. Vehicles moved again as if nothing had happened. And us, we packed up in silence. No applause, no spotlight, just one thing: we didn't fail.